What's up, guys? It's the Farooqi Bros back with another video, and today, for you guys, we're going to be discussing. It'll be an anime-centric video today because we'll be discussing the final chapter the final chapter, part one of Attack on Titan, and then the Demon Slayer to the Swordsmith Village movie that also released this weekend. It's doing quite well from the box office. It's actually is doing more people went to watch Demon Slayer this weekend than Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is pretty big. Even though it's third weekend for Ant-Man, like that's pretty big that it's doing better numbers. And of course, Creed 3 is winning the box office right now with 100 million. But that's enough for the box office review, but we'll just jump right into it. I want to start with Attack on Titan. Officially, the Attack on Titan, the final chapters, special one. And this came out just yesterday, as there's some interference, some ambulance outside.
2 days ago.
Yeah, this came out. It came out 2 days ago? Yeah, this came out 2 days ago after a big 6-7 month wait after part 2 of the final season. They've definitely been milking this one for a few parts, but I think if it means we're going to get animation quality like the one we just got 2 days ago, then I think, oh, hey, it's a cat. Then I think it's worth the wait. So I want to start with you, Zan. What is your review of Attack on Titan, the final chapters? What did you think about this special?
So honestly, as an anime only watcher, I thought it was actually very great. I animation wise, like you said, it was obviously high quality compared to some of the complaints we've gotten in the past with the last part of the season, like the final season, part 1 and 2, where some of the animation was a little sloppy in some points, especially regarding Titans and stuff like that. But they really did clean up and make things very smooth looking, and everything is very peak quality on not just the writing level, but also just the technical animation level. So I think that, like you said, is a plus, though. Obviously, I'd rather not have such a long wait between all these parts, but just getting this content, at least after however many months, it was finally so good to just jump back into Attack on Titan and get even closer to the ending and just see how everything played out. I thought it was just perfectly done. It was an amazing 1 hour special, and it just makes me that much more excited to see how it's all going to end. And I am disappointed that there's going to be another huge gap between this part and the next part. I thought, I don't know what reason they have behind this. They should have just put these two together, or at least the gap shouldn't have been this wide as it's suspected to be right now. So that's the only one disappointing thing, but otherwise, I think from top to bottom, this was an amazing special.
Yeah, so officially, MAPPA did come out with a small trailer for part 2, and it officially did confirm fall 2023. Now that can mean fall can mean anytime as early as September, and it can mean as late as early November. So we just know that's our general time frame, and let's see which way it ends up going. Samir, you are the resident Attack on Titan fan since you did put us on the show, so respect to you for that. But you've also been, you're not necessarily biased either. When the show is not meeting your standards, you call it out. When there's animation problems, you're the first one to say that it just didn't meet your standards. What did you think about this special? In my opinion, it was more polished than the last season even. So what did you think about it?
I thought the special was great. I actually don't mind having waited this long for it after seeing the animation quality, especially compared to the first 2 parts of season 4, right? And I do know that they censored a lot of some of the manga stuff, but I'm fine with that. I think it all worked very well with the animation and the pacing. I do think that if they just waited and had the last 2 parts just be like a 2-hour movie or something, that would have been nicer, like just to watch it in theaters or something. Like Demon Slayer has the movies out in theaters. I think Attack on Titan could have done that, and it would have been it might have been better, but then we'd have to wait even longer to see any Attack on Titan content. So I don't mind it still. I think it was great. Peak fiction still.
Yeah, ironically, that's actually what the rumors were for like a good few months. I wonder if there was the studio putting leaks out there to see like how people would react to it. The rumor was they wanted to end it on a movie. They saw how well Demon Slayer Mugen Train did in Japan and worldwide. I think if they said make this a 2-hour movie and package it up, and hindsight, who knows? Maybe it would have been like something insane that everyone would pack the theaters to watch. But instead, we're getting it this way as 2 specials, an hour special 2 days ago, and we're getting an hour special in the fall. but it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. For me, as the cat has pulled up again, for me, definitely, I would agree with Samir. It's peak. Peak fiction, as you know, it's been tried and true, has been said a few times. But in my opinion, just writing quality has been absolutely outstanding. Of course, that goes to the manga itself, and then the animation. They took their time with it. I don't mind waiting this many months if it's going to be as crisp as it was, especially some of the more harder shots, like the rumbling, showing the rumbling in its entirety. And I know, Samir, you're saying that they did censor a few things, but in my opinion, this is the most violent Attack on Titan has been since season 1. You see every inch of violence, and the death is extremely graphic. I mean, I put this image of Ramsey and Aaron talking. I think this scene, the first 15 minutes of the episode, I think are absolutely perfect, because you have that juxtaposition of Aaron apologizing for the death of someone it's going to be happening months later, and then having the viewer kind of see both these sequences back to back to back, and then you feel in the end, like, I don't know how everyone's supposed to take it, but I took it as like it put the rumbling in a more it put it in context, because when it's so much violence happening on screen, you get desensitized to it. It's just like real life, but like you get desensitized to violence quickly, so you're like, okay, well, whatever, mass genocide, whatever, pro Aaron. But when you see like the specific deaths happening with like children and like innocents who are actually getting squished and dying in the way they are, they're like, wait a minute, like there's a million of these like Ramsey children who are like just like that, or dying in the same way. And I think the way they crushed the head and everything was crazy. Like they're going pretty hard with it. So I was very impressed. And then we got to give a shout out to Hanji. I mean that was an incredible sequence, from the soundtrack to like, you had that one last, I don't know how many more they're going to do with, ODM gear, but that was like one of those like special moments where like you get to see like the rotoscoping, you get to see like how it all comes together. It's very nice. So absolutely fantastic. I would grade it 5 out of 5 for this special. I don't know about you, Zion, Samir, what would you grade this one? But that's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, 5 out of 5. I think it was pretty much perfect on every level.
Samir, what about you? You usually don't get 5 out of 5s.
5 out of 5, bro.
All right, so this is interesting because for years now, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has been the #1 anime. Pretty much it has not been dethroned for 10 years now, like literally since 2012, 2011, 13. I forgot when the series officially ended. Maybe it would have been 2012, but
I think it was like 2010 or something. Yeah,
2010. Yeah, finally yesterday. This is temporary. I think it might have fallen back at the time of this recording, but because it's always based on the reviews and the scores. But Attack on Titan jumped past Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and has an average score of 9.23. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a 9.11. So as like a final thing, we haven't ended it yet. So for me, the ending is big, and for me, Full Metal Alchemist, before Attack on Titan got this good, I was really clear this is the best anime in my opinion. So I was with like the consensus. But do you think with this last episode that it's pushed above Full Metal, like regardless of how it ends, it's going to stay better than Full Metal Alchemist? Do you think that's your opinion? Or do you think, no, we got to see how it sticks the landing or not?
I think it's right there, but the ending is so important. I think what also makes Full Metal Alchemist Brothers stand out is that it's such a perfect circular anime where it's like it starts one way and then it all wraps up at the end in a perfect like bow almost. And it's very satisfying. The end is very satisfying as well, story-wise. So I think just as a whole, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is just so amazing that you can't discount what Attack on Titan might not do so. I think the ending is very important in how they execute it, not just whatever was written in the manga, but how they execute in animation and in voice and whatever and everything that involves in an anime. I think that's all. It plays an important role to then what this will be ranked as at the end.
For me, what about you? What do you make of this debate, like between Full Metal and, because you were a big fan of Full Metal as well? So, like, what do you make of the debate between these two anime? It's two juggernauts, really.
I think at this point with the anime, I would put it above, but by the time it ends, I think it will fall back down to 2, or just below Full Metal. Well, I know what happens, but I don't want to say too much.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how it ends, of course, but I think if they keep the animation quality that these last 2 episodes had, if they keep kind of what we've been seeing, the standard that MAPPA has put out there, finally, I mean, I think it took some time to get there for them. I mean, season 4 when it first started, I do agree. When you look back at those scenes, it was a little choppy. It was a little over indulgent on CGI. But I think the more they've been like, okay, we're gonna take our time, we're gonna do this. If it takes 6-7 months, we don't care. And the way the last scene of all our main crew like attacking Eren and Zeke, the Beast Titan. I think if we're gonna get action sequences like that for like a straight hour for the next special, then it's going to take them 5 months to get that right. Otherwise, it's going to look choppy. And none of us want to sit here. If they released the final episode next week and it was a choppy final episode, we would have been like, well, story peaked, but the animation suffered here. We don't want to say that. So I say, let's just wait 5 months. It's a bit long. I think 2 to 3 months would have been more realistic. Like this said summer 2023. I would have been like, all right, understandable. Let's do summer. Fall's a bit much, but I'll say if the wait leads to an ending that is truly like magnificent, then I would say like, all right, we'll be sitting in the fall this time this year, and we'll be like, all right, good to go. So it wasn't Attack on Titan was not the only anime big event of the week, because Demon Slayer also had something going for it. It had To the Swordsmith Village. So this was a movie. I wouldn't say really it's a movie. It's like a special. Let me remove this thing. It was like you get episode 10, episode 11 of the Entertainment District arc. So episodes that already came out last year. And then episode 1 of the Swordsmith Village, which was a boosted 1 hour episode. So it's almost like 2 episodes in one. So that's really what we got out of this. So just to give you guys that clue. I would say like a lot of people are like, oh, we got robbed out of like it wasn't a real movie. I would say that it's not like they lied about it, because they did say straight up this is what it is. Like in all the trailers said this is what you're getting. So but I will say I'll go first. I'll say despite that, I did think that they could have done better with editing. I was not expecting necessarily that. I was like, okay, we get 2 episodes of Entertainment District and 1 episode of Swordsmith Village, but I thought they would edit it in a way to at least smooth together as a movie. But instead, we literally got full episodes with their intros, with their endings, and it felt disjointed. And it did at that point. Sometime when I'm in the middle of the movie, I was like, wait a minute, we're just seeing the episodes. Like we're not really seeing anything except the episodes. And that was kind of disappointing. Though I will say that when the Swordsmith Village arc kicked off, I was really impressed with animation. Like they put it all in there, and there's a reason why it's considered the animation quality that it is, because they just went off with it. And then it ended a bit of a deflating note for me, only because it started getting to like more comedic route, and it's just like kind of like it was not ending on the big moment. So unfortunately, it won't be as good as the Mugen Train movie, which in my opinion was fantastically done. And honestly, I would say the best way to watch Attack on Titan, the Mugen Train arc, is the movie and not the actual episodic version of it. So
Attack on Titan, the Mugen Train arc.
No, I'm saying Demon Slayer. I'd rather the audience watch. Like if I was recommending someone to watch for the first time, I would say watch the movie and don't watch the series in 11 episodes. Yeah, you get a little more context, but it's not worth it in my opinion. So that's my opinion on Demon Slayer. Yeah, what about you? What do you think about this kind of movie / special?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all the points. I think, like you said, they did advertise it to be exactly what it was, but still, it did feel kind of cheap. It kind of felt like they just like clipped all of them together in like iMovie and then just exported it, with zero editing or zero thought involved. And in a way, it felt like a cheap cash grab, even because of that. Like it wasn't obviously a proper film like Mugen Train was, which obviously just stands apart as like, yeah, that is a film in itself, and they did a very good job completely from start to finish. And this was just, they just clipped the episodes together. They could have done it a little better so it wouldn't feel as disjointed. Like they could have smoothed the transitions like in between without the credits rolling every time. Like you could feel the crowd was getting restless every time the credits roll. It's like you're wasting time. Let's just get to the next content. But aside from all that, like you said, when the new content actually started, it kicked off right high gear. The animation was insane. Obviously, a lot of budget must have went to that because they really just went crazy with it, and it started off very, very strong. And I think that was like kind of the saving grace for the whole thing. But like you said, it kind of softened a bit towards the end of like the first episode of the new arc. But I guess that makes sense. It's just an episode. It's not a movie, so you can't expect to end with the same movie notes thematically. So it was a good episode. I think that was just I have no gripes against anything that happened content wise in the episode. The only gripes I have is just how it was presented as like a package deal. They should have just done it a little more smoothly.
Yeah, Samir, what about you? What did you think about the Demon Slayer special?
I did not care for it, just because of the way that it was, set up. I didn't mind like the recap at the beginning. I like that, but if they just smooth it into the episodes, just made the transitions work properly. I didn't mind hearing the intro at the beginning, but then having to see the episode end and then the next episode start, like repeat that last moment over and over, and not have it transition smoothly. I thought that was kind of annoying. I didn't mind hearing the credits for that arc, but then we had to hear the credits for the other episode before that, which didn't make sense either to me. And I was worried that like we knew it was gonna be the first episode of that the next season, but I was worried. I was like, there's no way they're gonna get right into the action, so it's just gonna be the filler up to the next point, which is what it was, except for the infinite castle scenes, which I thought were great. It's like, I thought that was peak. Yeah, the infinite castle stuff, that was amazing.
I agree.
After that, it fell off kind of. I do like the cliffhanger at the end, though. I'm kind of excited to see what happens next. But then we're gonna have to wait an extra week after it comes out because we already saw the first episode.
Yeah. Are you caught up on the manga for Demon Slayer? Or you're going fresh?
I know things, but I'm not. I haven't read it. I've seen spoilers.
But you're more or less anime only outside of that. Like you haven't actually read it fully. Yeah. So I'm also anime only for this one, but it's from my understanding, it's not a long manga. Like it's a pretty short manga. So I think they're gonna like maybe wrap it up in the next 3 seasons. Like I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. I'm also very interested in the story. Demon Slayer is funny because it's kind of like animation's insane. The story is pretty good, but sometimes it falls into the shonen tropes. Like you just you know a shonen anime when you see it, and it's like it's gonna do its like thing, and it's gonna have certain formula that it has to follow. And then some of the more like comedy scenes is like it has like that Naruto feel to it, but I think it's going to be good. Like I think it's going to be a great show. It's funny because I'm just watching Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer back to back. I think hurt Demon Slayer more than it needed to. Whereas there was a week break between them. Like if Attack on Titan was next week or Demon Slayer was last week, and then we had 1 week break between the two, I would have appreciated both in its own entirely. But unfortunately, watching them back to back, Attack on Titan just cleared, and because of that, Demon Slayer looked worse than it was. But I will say the Infinite Castle scene, from an animation standpoint, was on par with anything Attack on Titan did, if not better. So that was just incredible. Like they were just the way they were moving from character to character. Tension was crazy. His name is Akaza, right? His whole story I'm very interested in because there's something there, you know. Like I want to see what's the tension between these three in particular. Like I want to know what the backstory is. I want to know what's going on between 1, 2, and 3. I'm actually more interested in them than I am in like what Tanjiro and Nezuko's up to. Like I can tell eventually like they're gonna have their, you know, they're gonna figure it out. But like these three, I want to know what the hell's going on here, you know. So
I think the best thing they did, like I don't know if this will be consistent in the whole arc, obviously because anime only, but the best thing they did was get Zenitsu and Inosuke like out of the way, so like you don't have that same group dynamic over and over and over again. So it'll be like Tanjiro and Nezuko with the new characters, like the new Hashiras or whatever, together as a group instead of just being them three like doing the same and following the same comedic jokes and stuff like that. I think that'll be a refreshing change for this season compared to last.
Based on the intro, and I don't know if this is a shout, but based on the intro of the show that they kind of premiered at the end, it does seem like we're gonna have a little break from Zenitsu and Inosuke. I mean, they probably will show up at some point, but they weren't heavily featured in the intro. Like it feels like it's really Tanjiro with the new group, which honestly is very refreshing. It kind of feels like, you know, like there's no good comparison. I was gonna give it like a Kingdom Hearts reference, like if Sora gets away from Dawn Goofy a little while and goes his own thing. I'm like, okay, he's doing his own thing now for a little while, which I think Kingdom Hearts 4 will do. Like they're gonna probably separate. They're not gonna put Sora with Dawn Goofy right away. Like he's probably gonna be on his own with brand new party members, or he's gonna be doing other things. But I don't know. It's bad. It's a anime does this thing where it has to be the trio every single time. Am I cutting or something? Hello?
No, you're not cutting.
Yeah. You guys are all cutting for me, so I was like, maybe I just froze. I was saying like anime's trope is always you have their main trio, so it's like Demon Slayer has a set trio. Just let's see how it goes. But either way, so how are we scored this one? I'm personally scoring it 3.5 out of 5 for Demon Slayer. As episodes, all of them were good episodes. It's just as a movie, I don't think it flowed as well as they wanted. It kind of flowed backwards. We got all the action in the beginning, and then just a lot of exposition in the end. And that's not how a movie goes. So it felt like I'm watching a backwards movie. So for that reason, I had to dock at some points. Like Samir said, having the credits play 3 times is insanity for a movie. Like people really getting up in the theater.
Yeah, people started standing up. They thought it was over after the second episode.
Yeah, because listen, the credits when the Entertainment District ended was so like big credits with like all the pictures and everything. People were really getting up and leaving, and I was like, the movie's still going. And it's also that was kind of, in my opinion, it's actually inexcusable. Like you have to be not that late. So, like Zam said, the best analogy, it felt like you just threw an iMovie and exported it. Just edit, just take out the edits. Like take out 2 things. Even if you want to go lazy, take out the end credits and take out the repeat scenes. Like it just starts again with the same scene. Like we just saw this scene. And for an episode, it works because you waited 1 week to see it. It doesn't make sense if you're watching in the theater. So for that reason, I had to dock at points. So remember, I gave Mugen Train a 5. Like I was that high on it. But this time, yeah, for this one, I had to go low. 3.5 for me. So that's where I'm sitting on it. Zan, what about you?
Yeah, 3.5, same for all the same reasons, really. I think individually they would score differently, but averaged out with the problems of it being like clipped together, it would be 3.5.
I'm gonna also give it a 3.5. I don't mind having to see the last 2 episodes again, just because the animation is so good. Seeing it in theaters is crazy. But obviously the editing and the last like 20 minutes were not that great.
Yeah. I will say that even if they did do small edits like no credits and no repeat scenes, I probably wouldn't give it more than a 4 because even then, I feel like the last 2 episodes of Entertainment District does not flow with the first episode of like I don't need to know the Upper Six's origin story outside that one scene where they meet Doma. I don't need to know that. Like we wasted half an hour of a movie telling their origin story, which works great for the season itself, but it doesn't make sense for the movie because you're trying to get fans excited for the next season. That doesn't do anything for the next season. But again, the Infinity Castle scene alone gives it the score that it got. So that's where I'm sitting on it. Either way, what did you guys think about Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer? Let us know in the comments below and join the debate. From myself, from Zayan, and from Samir, we're the Farooqi Bros, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.